Hey everyone, this is Nick on Control Nick, and today I'm going to teach you the function concat in Excel. Let's head on over to the workbook and I'll show you with a couple of examples. Right, so now we're in the example workbook and I have two examples for us. Now, before we start in example one, I just want to explain a little bit what concat is. And essentially, concat is just a way for you to join text or number values from multiple cells into a single cell. And it is useful, especially if you're working with a data set. And in data sets, you typically need to have some sort of unique identifier in order to pull specific values or specific rows, especially for like XLOOKUP and VLOOKUP. Now, using concat, you can do so by combining different features like first name, last name, like what we have in this example, but other features as well in case you have like a zip code or a city. Those types of things you can combine, and I'll show you a closer example in example two. But just to start with example one, we have a very simple data set. We have the first name and the last name for 5 different people. And what you want to do is combine them into one. So what I'll do is I'll go into D3 and I'm just going to start my concat formula by typing in equal sign concat and parentheses. Now what I want to do to join these two values to the left is I just select my first cell, which is going to be our first name John, comma, and then last name Smith. Now you can keep going for many different cells in case you want to reference more than just the two we have here, but for this example we'll just do two. I will then finish my concat formula with a closing parentheses and click enter. Now you can see from B3 and C3 is now being combined into D3 here because we are concating those cells. Let me do that one more time for us. So equal sign, concat, parenthesis, art, comma, Smith, close parenthesis, enter. Now, if I drag down these cell values, you'll notice that concat will just do the same thing on repeat. So concat is as simple as that, and let's use a real-world application in example 2. Okay, now we're in example 2 of the concat function. Now, as you can see, we have a larger data set. We have in column C, customer name, column D, zip code, and E and F are revenue and cost. And let's say you want to use a unique identifier because you're using an XLOOKUP or VLOOKUP or index match formula based off of some sort of unique value. However, if you have repeating values sitting in column C or column D, you're not going to actually pull a unique value because as you can actually see in column C, that we have repeating names, which means that there's no true uniqueness in this list. And the same thing with zip codes. Now, it's a little harder to see with zip codes, so I'll show you what I mean in just a moment. What I want to do is highlight in column D, and then under the Home tab, you have conditional formatting. When you click on that and hover over highlight cell rules, the last value to the right is duplicate values. So when I click on duplicate values, you see Excel is already going to populate what is showing as a duplication. So again, no unique value sitting in column D because you have repeating zip codes. And of course, there is risk to that if you want to look up a specific row in Excel, but if your data set doesn't have total uniqueness in it, you're not going to be able to pull the correct answers. This is where concat comes in. So what I'm going to do is in column B, row 3, let's start with our concat function. Equals concat, parentheses, exact same setup as in example 1. And this time what I'm going to do is select customer name first in column C, comma, in column D, select the zip code. Close parenthesis, enter. Now, what I'll do is just copy down this formula here. And as you can see, we now have a bunch of different assumingly unique IDs. And let's do the same thing as we had done in column D with conditional formatting, however in column B now, and see what happens. So I'm going to go back to Home, conditional formatting, highlight cell rules, duplicate values. Okay, as you can see, no duplicate values are actually sitting in here, which means if we want to do a VLOOKUP based off of this unique ID, we'll always be able to pull the correct revenue or cost associated with that formula. That was it for today's video on concat. Feel free to like and subscribe if you want to be notified for other videos that I have coming for Excel, and consider taking a look at the videos that'll pop up on your screen to learn a little bit more as well. Have a great day.